Hey guys, Mike here from Messy Entertainment. Just doing a quick video to show the few people that are waiting to get their hands on 4.0, UI Styles 4.0. So we're skipping straight to 4.0 because we've pretty much rebuilt it from the ground up. So a few reasons for that is we've had requests for runtime support. The way it was built originally wouldn't have handled that very well. We was going to add some stuff to it, but it just worked out better just to rebuild it. So soon it will have runtime support, like full runtime support. Everything you do in the editor you will be able to do at runtime. Another thing, people weren't getting on with groups too well and saving to scriptable objects, so we've done away with that. And now as soon as you open UI Styles, it's just going to work. You don't need to save to files, you don't need to keep the files in your scene. You will have one file, but that is it, just one file, and it'll automatically put it there for you. And the reason for the groups before is so that we could take our styles to other projects. Well, now we're going to have an export and import button, so if we want to get all these styles into another project, we can just export them. So let's take a look at the new setup. So where we had a drop down before with all the tabs in, so we had tabs for images, buttons, input fields. Now everything's up to you what you have. So let's say you wanted a text or a button category, you could just add a category, call it button styles, and add that, and that's it there. So you don't have to. You could have a group or category they're called now. So you could have a category with buttons, text, input fields. You know, you could just have a category for your sci-fi stuff, and then just do it however you want. So if I add another one now, I could call that text again. I don't have to put text in here. Could mix it up. So let's just create a button now. So I could make a pre-made button. So by doing that, let's just call it button style. So by doing that, it's already put the button in here, the image and the text. Now what we can do is just delete that and just make a custom, because basically they're all just custom ones now. So let's just keep that new custom style. That's okay. So all these are just putting the components in the custom for you, basically. So you can see now we have no components. So if we wanted to make a button, we would add a button component. So on here is all the values to update your button. So this component here, basically, you've added this component to here. So a button also has an image, so we would add an image. That's the image. You could change it to a raw image just like you could before. The rect transform's there now, so it's easier to see. And then you would need a text. And that is what your button consists of, really. So obviously the text needs its path changing, just like before. And the reason this is now is we could actually put the button script on the text and as long as we update its path, so you're just free to use it however you want, really. And obviously if you do want to use it like the old way, so let's just create an input field, you can just click the pre-made one. So all these are pre-made, so you get your input field, you get your image, your placeholder, and where we had custom before, you would just add a custom from here, and there's your custom. So you can rename all these as well. So if you want to call that something else, just right click it. So pretty much anything on here now handles right clicks. So we can delete them with right click, so we can move them up, move them down. Same with your categories here. So if we wanted to add that find by a name to the object, like we did before, like let's say we had loads of those, and we wanted to put the find by name in it, we could just right click that and then copy to selected objects. we've got some options here. There will actually be a button here. We've got a search field here. So this settings, this is basically to get to all your apply in all scenes in this category. So it's very similar to how it was before. It just works a lot more user friendly. Now another great thing we've added is we've improved the colour palette quite a lot. So now if we click to put a colour in here, click the P, and we get our colour palette come up in a separate window, and we can just click a colour and that will just put the colour in there for us. It will link to that colour now as well. So if I hover over that, it'll tell me a bit about it. So we've got default category, the palette red, and the colour 500. So because that's linked, what that means is if we open our colour palette up, basically means if I was to change the 500 colour, then the colour's linked to it, so it doesn't just change it on the palette, it changes everywhere that was referencing it, so it doesn't lose track anymore. That was a feature that was asked for many times, so I added that. And then you can, so if you click the colour now, it'll tell you that you're linked to your palette. Do you want to break the link or keep it? So if you break it, then you're no longer linked to it. That's the same here as well. So if we grab any colour, we can just grab a colour from there and it puts it in there. So the colour palette's massive improvements on that. If we open that up, you can right click these as well. You can move to different categories. So before we could only load one colour palette at a time. Well, now we can have another one. So you might have like these are just default Google colours. You might have a category for pastel colours, or you can just have as many as you want. So you just add your colours in there. And what you couldn't do before is you couldn't duplicate these. Now you can. So you can left click the colours. You can delete the colours right from there. Again, you can rename these palettes. You can right click the names in here, move up, rename, delete. So the colour palette's a lot better. You can do a search. Not a search. So yeah, the colour palette's a lot better. I've been asked for drag and drop as well before. So you're going to be able to do that. It just tells you at the moment that drag and drop is coming soon. But just note that if you want to add a style, you'll drag the game object to there and we'll create a style out of it. In this one, if you drag the component to the component, then you'll add that component and its values to it. So yeah, that's just a quick look into it. If anyone's wanting to get their hands on 4.0, send us an email and I'll send you a copy. If not, it should be in the asset store in about 2.5 weeks maybe. So yeah, let us know if you want anything else added to it. Thanks.